South Africa is standing at a deeply significant crossroads. A moment so charged that the air across the nation feels heavy, tense, emotional, and filled with uncertainty. A new immigration law has just been approved, one that is anything but light, soft, or subtle. It is tough, strict, unapologetic, and direct. And its impact is already echoing loudly across the country. Conversations have shifted almost overnight. From family homes to workplace lunchrooms, from taxi ranks to sposa shops, from border towns to church gatherings, no corner of the nation is quiet. Everyone has an opinion and no one is indifferent. Some people feel relief, believing law and order are finally being restored. Others are angry, afraid, confused, or anxious about what this change means for their families and their future. Some individuals are quietly planning their next step, imagining what life may look like under these new rules. What is undeniable, however, is that South Africa has entered a new era. The country is not the same place it was last week. Something fundamental has shifted. For years, the topic of immigration and the presence of foreign nationals in South Africa has been like a constant drumbeat in the background. Sometimes soft, sometimes explosive, but never fading. You hear it everywhere. In taxis where passengers debate loudly, in political speeches where leaders use the subject to gain influence, on social media where opinions clash violently, in street arguments, and in heated discussions among friends and neighbors. Some citizens insist that foreigners take jobs that should belong to locals, that they contribute to rising crime rates, or that they operate businesses illegally without regulation. Others argue just as strongly that foreign nationals are hardworking, peaceful, entrepreneurial, and simply trying to make a better life for themselves and their families. Some say South Africa has lost its sense of Ubuntu, that spirit of humanity and compassion that once defined it. Others believe Ubuntu has been stretched, misinterpreted, or even exploited, leaving many citizens feeling unheard or disregarded. Every person seems to have chosen a side, and neutrality feels increasingly rare. The weight of years of socio-economic pressure has built up, creating a society that is exhausted, frustrated, and desperate for solutions. South Africa has been carrying numerous heavy burdens simultaneously. The economy has been sluggish. Unemployment remains painfully high, especially among the youth. Inequality continues to widen, creating a greater divide between those who have resources and those who do not. The healthcare system struggles under the load of serving millions more people than it was designed for. Schools are overcrowded and many communities feel the effects of rising crime and limited opportunities. When people feel like they have nothing left to lose, their voices become louder, more urgent, and more emotional. This frustration built up over many years, turning into political pressure that eventually pushed the government to act. Now, the new immigration law has landed like a spark in a room filled with gasoline fumes. This new law signals a dramatic shift in how South Africa intends to manage its borders and immigration systems. It introduces far stricter border control measures, effectively ending the era where individuals could enter the country quietly or without proper documentation. It accelerates deportation processes, meaning that people living in the country without legal papers will now be removed more quickly and with fewer delays. The law imposes heavy penalties not just on undocumented individuals but also on anyone who assists them. Employers, landlords, business owners, criminal syndicates, taxi operators, and even government officials who look the other way or accept bribes may now face serious consequences. This is no small adjustment, it is a clear statement that South Africa is altering its national direction. The message is unmistakable. The door is no longer open in the same way it once was. But behind the laws and policies are real human beings, people with dreams, families, histories, and identities that cannot simply be erased by paperwork. Among the foreign nationals living in South Africa, many have been here for 5, 10, or even 20 years. Some have built entire lives in the country. Their children were born on South African soil. They speak Isulu, Sesotho, Setswana, or Xhosa with confidence. They enjoy local music, follow African sports, and celebrate local culture. For them, South Africa is not just the country they moved to. it has become home. Yet many of these individuals do not have legal documents. And now they find themselves asking terrifying questions. What will happen to us? Where are we expected to go? How do we prove we belong here when our lives are so deeply rooted in this land? Imagine being told to return to a country where your childhood village no longer exists, where your family has been scattered, or where political instability still threatens safety and stability. Consider the experience of a child who has only ever known South Africa, born here, raised here, attending school here, being suddenly told that they are not from here. That is more than a legal matter. It is a deep emotional wound. On the other side of this issue are South African citizens who feel abandoned, ignored, or pushed aside. Visualize a young South African waking up each day, searching tirelessly for work, handing out CVs with hope that fades a little more each week, and watching job opportunities seem to slip away. Then imagine hearing someone say, "Foreigners work harder. They accept lower pay. They take your job." Whether that statement is fully accurate or only partially true, the emotional impact is undeniable. It taps into real fears, real struggles, and genuine frustration. Public sentiment often shapes political action, and this law is evidence of that transformation. It did not appear randomly, it is the result of building anger, community tensions, political pressure, and a collective feeling that the situation was spiraling out of control. Many South Africans have been saying for years that their country needs to be protected, that its systems must be strengthened, and that its borders should be managed responsibly. Now, with this law, the government is attempting to reassert control and restore public confidence. The real question, however, is how this law will play out in daily life. Laws on paper are very different from laws in action. Will police begin conducting random checks on individuals walking in the streets? Will Home Affairs finally gain the capacity to process documents efficiently and fairly? Will profiling increase? Will businesses start dismissing workers because they are afraid of being penalized? Will criminals use fear and confusion as an opportunity to exploit vulnerable people? Will politicians use this moment to inflame emotions, gain followers, and strengthen their agendas? These are the uncomfortable questions many people are whispering, but few are saying out loud. The entire situation is delicate, emotional, and potentially dangerous. With tensions already high, one wrong move could escalate into conflict. This is why the coming weeks and months will be critical. South Africa is entering a storm, a period marked by uncertainty, protests, legal battles, emotional stories, and likely intense debates. There will be court appeals challenging the law. There will be demonstrations in support of it and demonstrations against it. There will be stories of families divided, individuals deported, police operations conducted, and communities pushed to their limits. There will be moments of anger and heartbreak as well as moments of relief, clarity, or hope for some. This turning point in South Africa's immigration policy will reshape lives, families, businesses, and communities in ways that are still unfolding. The storm may feel overwhelming, but storms do not last forever. Sometimes they clear the path for new beginnings, difficult as they may be. As people reflect on what this new chapter means, one thing remains essential: staying informed, speaking honestly, and refusing to remain silent. Silence allows misinformation to grow, misunderstandings to deepen, and communities to fracture. Information strengthens societies, giving people the tools they need to engage, question, and participate in shaping the future. South Africa's story is not ending with the passing of this law, it is only beginning a new and complicated chapter, and the road ahead will require awareness, dialogue, empathy, and resilience from everyone who calls this country home. As this transition unfolds, South Africans, both citizens and long-term foreign residents, will have to confront difficult truths about identity, belonging, and national responsibility. These conversations are not easy because they touch the deepest parts of people's lives. Their safety, their dignity, their ability to provide for their families, and their sense of home. For many foreign nationals, South Africa is the only place where they have found stability, opportunity, and community. For many citizens, this country represents their final hope for a better tomorrow, and any threat to that hope feels deeply personal. This emotional complexity means the immigration debate is not just about laws or documents, it is about the soul of the nation. South Africa has always been a place shaped by movement, of cultures, of people, of ideas. Its diversity has been both a strength and a source of tension. Now the country must redefine what it means to protect its borders while still honoring human dignity. That balance will not come easily. The coming months will demand maturity from leaders, fairness from institutions, responsibility from communities, and compassion from everyone. Whether this moment becomes a chapter of conflict or a chapter of renewal will depend entirely on how South Africans choose to navigate the days ahead.